Hello, hello, hello. DarkBrue is back. We took a week off. We had some personal stuff come up, but we're back and we have a very special episode. I am, of course, TheBrueCru.
I'm Crispy's friend, Dark. Hi.
And I'm CrispedSpoon. I'm ready to do this.
Hell yes, he is.
Woohoo!
Let's get it going.
Dark Brew, Dark Brew, Dark and Brew Crew, the
Podcast.
I'm excited.
I'm excited too. I do need to apologize in advance for the listeners and viewers. I do have a bit of a cold today. The voice is a little lower, which is sexy.
I could just notice it in your nose a little bit. That's all. It's like deeper, but in your little ticket slightly, but nasally.
Is it
That's
that
all.
noticeable? Yikes.
No, it's not that bad. You're good, man. I'm sorry if you're feeling a little under the weather.
It's okay. It happens too frequently to me. But I'm
Still
excited.
here.
Crispy, our friend from the Great White North, has agreed to
Yes.
come on the podcast. How are you, buddy?
I may or may not be broadcasting from Canada, whether or not you believe that is true. I mean,
You can't
Canada-
prove it. You can't prove
Yeah.
it. We got a little running joke that Canada does not exist, but it's actually, I don't know how much of a joke it is. I mean, supposedly I was born there, but I have no memory of that. I like, they've shown me pictures. I could be anywhere with snow.
Dark,
Stuff.
I am your father.
Might be. You could be. The whole world is an illusion. I don't know what's real anymore.
Yeah.
Let's just say that. Crispy, tell the listeners who you are to us. And
I'm CrispedSpoon. I'm in the Dynasty of Tamriel. I like to play ESO and try and be sweaty sometimes, maybe. Not really, but
Well,
I like to play
modest.
around.
He gets sweaty.
Yeah.
That's your player.
I don't know. What is sweaty in ESO? Like, what is that?
Wow, bust out with the huge question.
Yeah, we're
there.
starting
What,
hard hitting.
What is life? What is
But I-
sweaty in
I-
ESO?
complete, and people think I'm sweaty. I'm like, but no, these people are doing this, and I haven't done that. I can't figure it out yet. So,
I think,
it's sweaty.
Brew, what do you think sweaty is? If you could just synopsize it in one. One
My
general
opinion is
idea.
like, okay, so it's all perspective, right? I understand Chris' point that, like, well, we look at people and we go, well, we're not sweaty because we're not doing that. Like, that's some sweaty stuff, like perfectas on trials. But in
Mhm,
general,
exactly.
any perfecta in a dungeon, I would consider you sweaty. You know, do
Okay,
you have
I mean,
Mountain
yeah.
God? Do you have Bone Caller's Bane? Like, do you have some of these real sweaty titles that...
I got them with Dark. Yeah. So
So you
I don't
sweaty,
know. I
bud?
probably with you, and I'm a healer in one and a DPS in the other, and I don't think that I'm all that great of a DPS. I'm okay.
Yeah, what do you
I don't know if
consider
I'm-
your main? Which one do you consider your main?
I consider the DPS I run in the prog with you on Monday my main, but that's because it's my craft. Whereas my healer has actually done all the sweaty stuff. It has
Oh.
Mountain God.
So that's your healer's
or-
your main sweaty dungeon diver.
Yeah, it's done all the
Yeah.
perfectas that I have. Bone Caller's Bane, I have that. Stormfoe, No Bone Unbroken.
Ooh.
You know, Lara Hawk we did.
That's a sweaty one.
Yeah. I mean, I think Lara Marsalok's pretty sweaty to have the perfecta in there, but
And that's
you
the
know,
same healer you run for core?
Tormentor. I run with two TikTok tormentors and a Griffin Heart on the regular on Friday nights, and there are Dark and I there with our 4-man stuff, just our 4-man titles, and maybe a Dramata Destroyer between the two of us. I mean, I don't know. It's sometimes hard to consider myself sweaty.
No,
I run with two guys
you
that
should.
hit too. I run with Dark and Gerb. Those guys both hit high numbers. They hit more than I do on a parsing dummy. They understand that more than I do. I still think I'm trying to learn this game. I really do.
I think
I'm
we all
confused,
are.
man.
That's the beauty of the game. Is there is so much to continually learn.
It is.
It continually changes.
You know it all, and I don't know it all, and it bothers me, and it frustrates me.
That's great, though. That's a good thing. That's
why I like
the
the Elder Scrolls. Every Elder Scrolls game to me has been about that, to try and figure it out.
Yeah.
And I try and build like one good character, and I don't know if I've ever done that. I can't say I have.
Can I just lay on you what I...
Years, Oblivion, Skyrim, ESO now for three plus years now, I think. I'm coming on my probably third year.
Okay.
They're still just trying to figure it out, man. Just one day I'll get.
Well, Dark, what do you think about the sweaty titles or sweaty concept?
I've been in a Prague. What is their name?
OPMC?
I can't remember.
Cyclists? OPMC?
Overpowered menstrual cyclists? Anyway, no, I've been in this Prague with Crispy personally. We're the two original members, and then Dab and Gerb came along. It was Toasty. I think Indo was in it with us last. So we've been doing the four-man sweaty stuff, like concentrated, for about a year now. And it's been great, and I love running with you, Crispy. Sweaty to me is a relative term. When you can be a sweaty player and come into ESO and not know anything, and once you start getting your ground and start progressing and starting seeing that, I think that's when you start getting sweaty, especially if you're doing it the right way and you know, and then you know, sweaty. We refer to the term sweaty, and if you've never heard that out there. Well, it just refers to getting down in a video game, I guess, getting sweaty, but like being really good and on top of it and being able to carry. And that's kind of the general perception. My deal is just, and Zoo, if you're out there, I think you'll agree, it's just getting down to it, man, and just putting your nose to the grindstone and getting after it.
Every gamer knows about it, even outside of ESO. You know, your hands start getting sweaty. You know you're focused. You're locked in.
Your balls are sweaty too.
Yeah. I don't know. It's
you're sweaty, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna consider you in the sweaty category.
Yeah. I'm the most insecure gamer in the world. It doesn't matter what I do. I can go do all this stuff. It keeps me going. It keeps me wanting to be better at any game I want to be the best at every game that I care about. You know what I'm saying? Other games where I'm like, oh, okay, I don't, I might not put them all into it. It might not mean something, but like ESO or whatever, Elden Ring, or I want to be.
Yeah, I don't know. My rule for like progging with someone or any prog group or core team I'm going to be a part of is I have to like the people. I don't care so much. Mm-hmm. I've progged with Brue. Yes, I've never asked him what his parse is. I've never asked you, Dark, like, what is your parse? It's never meant anything to me what your parse is. Can I get along with you? Can we have fun? Can we laugh? The titles and the achievements will happen then. You just have to put in time. But to me, the most important thing in any prog or whatever is let's have fun.
The chemistry, yeah.
Let me ask you then, Chris. What do you think about parsing? You don't like to ask people about it, but where do you stand on the parsing situation?
It's a necessary evil.
I was thinking that. I was just thinking. I was going to ask you. Do you think it's a necessary evil?
Look, I was a core team. Yes, I had to parse. I had to parse over 80K. I'd never really parsed before. I did it. It's not something I enjoyed doing. It's a waste of potions. It's a lot of things I hate. One thing that it does is it lets me know that you've put in the time. Like if I'm a healer on a core team now, so in the DPS parse, I know they're putting in time. I know they're working on their character. I know they're getting their rotation down. I know they're getting their resource management down. And it's a way to show that you're putting in the work. The number
absolutely
is not the most important thing. It's good to have a high number. The bigger the number, the better, obviously. But I play with guys that hit 110 and can't stay alive in content, and then they're hitting nothing. Then they're costing you DPS. I've played with guys who hit 65k but stay up all the time. They're easy to run with. It's,
Hmm.
you know, to me, you need a good mix. You need some people who can hit really high, hit 110 and stay alive. And once you have that, things become easier. You know,
It is true.
they
The DPS creep, the damage creep, has made the game a lot
yeah.
easier. I mean, you could look at the DLC dungeons as an example. You know, the earlier the dungeon, if you have high DPS, you could blow through a white gold tower like it's nothing. You know?
Mhm. I tried Castle Thorn the other day on Vet, right?
Yeah.
And you know that boss in the pool, the gargoyle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We went down into the pool, and I said to the guys I was running with, oh, you guys go into the pool. Most people try and avoid the pool. And the other DPS goes to me, we should never leave this pool. We're going to burn this boss down before that mechanic happens.
Wow.
And we almost did. We got it to 20%. And had I known that was the plan to start, we could have done it.
Okay.
You know
The
what I
first
mean?
20%, you were just like, you were standing outside the pool thinking, oh, what are you guys doing? Why are you in there?
Well, I was in the pool, but I was just like, but I wasn't like, I was going to save my ulti until we were out of the pool and that sort of thing.
Oh, yeah.
No. We stopped it to start. And I say we almost did. I was like, that's entirely possible now. And the next time we go through that dungeon with the groups I run with, that's the strategy we're going to use.
I'm down for that.
Yeah. I think either one of my prog groups could do that. As long as we know we have a war horn ready, we have, maybe a Colossus, we're doing, however we're comped, we're ready to go. And that's just what we're going to do. We're going to burn that boss down before that mechanic happens. And that is, once you can start doing that, face it, it comes easier in the game. You burn through mechanics. So that's where part of it helps you with that.
It absolutely does. And
Mhm.
you'll notice the game has thrown anti melt everything like mechanics in, or like more segmented stuff where, if you have a total burn, you've got to like still like the box of gold bar, or they're like, it'll decrease your damage done or
Because
whatever.
of course we got to the end of Castle Thorn and it was still broken.
Ah.
So we were going to do the hard mode.
Dixie
And then we
Games,
went
awesome.
to Frostvault, where that stupid laser boss is easy, but it forces you to do the mechanic. You can't burn through it. You're going to get 4 phases of that boss up and down.
Frostvault. Oh, Crispy, we spent too long in there, man. Oh.
I had to go back into another hard mode with Tez and Rasslin the other day. They were doing some stuff.
Want to be mousy boys?
How are those guys? I haven't heard from them in a while.
They're doing well. I actually did a vast one with them yesterday as well.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
Some sweaty guys also in ESO, Xbox, wrestling.
I need some time in vast.
We got a lot of sweaty people in our guild. Or, a handful of really,
See,
really
Tez
good.
is Unchained. That's sweaty to me when you're that level.
Oh, yeah.
When you're getting the perfecta in
The hardest 4-man content.
yeah. And what's the other one? True Genius.
That's Stone Garden's
Stone
perfecta.
Garden.
Yeah.
I mean, I've attempted that. It needs some work.
That hard mode needs some coordination.
work. Yeah.
Doable.
It is doable, I think. It's just going to take some time, and we're going to have to grind it out.
As with
After
most
we-
things.
Yeah. So.
Well, we know you love the Elder Scrolls franchise. That
I
played
agree.
a lot of the games. We're gonna get into it, I guess, right? What about you and your earlier life and your earlier influences? I mean, because you've been around since the not to give your age away, but since the like kind of like me, the dawn of the gaming era. Pong. Yeah, Pong.
Pong was a thing in my life. That was like the first video game console there was. It was one game. It was very basic. It was kind of like ping pong ball without a net.
I think everybody should be familiar with Pong out there.
I remember I had like a Atari, I want to say a 2600 when I was a kid. Played a game called Astro Smash and Tempest.
Assassin Smash? What was it?
Astro
Astro, not ass smash. Come on.
Acid Smash. I'm like, I missed that one. Those pixelated
I played a
boobies.
game called Acid Smash in my teenage years.
It sounds like a punk band.
Yeah. But yeah, I remember I spent hours playing a game called Astro Smash, and you're literally just a little spaceship, and you would spin around 360 and shoot the asteroids so they wouldn't hit you.
I thought that was asteroids.
This version was Astro Smash.
It was the
Would have been more than one.
knockoff version of asteroids.
Yeah. There was an asteroids game too. Maybe I'm confusing the names.
Because
Astro
asteroids,
Smash
you were
one of the
a plane that you just spun around, and asteroids would just be flying by, and you
Yeah,
shoot them
and
and they turn
Astro
into small.
Smash you were on the ground and they were coming at you.
Okay.
Yeah. They were both very similar though. But any of those old Atari games, like I played just a ton of them as a kid.
And
Yeah,
were you
that's-
all in on video games, like hours and hours playing games? Was your go-to as a kid?
Yeah, I played a lot of sports, but I also played. I'd say I had my own video game in my room of all places.
Oh.
It's a big deal, like in 1980.
You stayed up
not
all
every-
night then. Did you ever sleep?
No, but it was a little portable TV, like a 13-inch TV I was playing on,
Nice.
black and white. But that didn't matter because,
Yeah.
Yeah.
The game system, your room.
Yeah. And my parents were open to video gaming. Like, we actually had a pinball machine in my house when I grew up.
Oh.
My dad
Awesome.
enjoyed pinball. He wasn't big on actual video games. He never sat down and played with me. That wasn't his thing. But it didn't bother him, so we were allowed to do it.
Oh,
Right?
cool. That's pretty open in my mind for a new technology that kids play. For parents to be like, "Yeah, go ahead, go for it."
I mean, that's a video game. A pinball's a video game.
The latest technology. We had a beta machine when they first came out to watch movies.
Betamax?
Yeah. You know what a VCR is?
Yeah.
Well, before that was a beta machine, and there was
One,
there
two,
was
or three.
two formats: beta and VHS, and VHS won out. But so some people had beta machines, and these were the first one to come out, and you could watch movies on beta, and you'd actually have to get the right. It's like being in the right format on a computer, but it was the right size of cassette to play in your machine because betas were, I want to say, smaller than a VHS. I can't exactly
Weren't they
remember.
smaller
that.
and longer or something?
Yeah, they were different size though, so you couldn't play one in a beta would only play in a beta machine, and then a VHS would play in a VCR. So he was just that, and having a decent TV. Every couple of years, he would upgrade the TV. He was, we weren't rich, but he would spend money on entertainment because it would be used. Like a TV is used regularly.
Yeah.
He'd watch TV at night. The family, we would, in those days, sit down and watch like Jeopardy together or Hockey Night in Canada as a family.
Hockey, yeah. Oh, hockey, yeah.
Night in Canada.
Yes. HNIC stands for something different in Canada. Hockey Night in Canada. The
Nice pulp.
television program there is. Every Saturday night, there's a doubleheader in Canada.
Oh, Saturdays
On
are
TV.
hockey days. I don't know.
That's Hockey Night in Canada. Yeah, Saturdays.
I would have thought it's a weeknight sort of thing. Helps you get through the week. Thursday nights is like hockey night. You got double headers as soon as you're off work, all the way until bed.
So, but that's when all when Cheers would be playing, when all the big TV shows would be in the week.
Oh,
weekend. Like you had your football on Sunday, you had hockey on Saturday night. Baseball would be going all day, or golf, right? That's when they played in. Because there wasn't a channels, right?
You had awesome Canadian television production going on. All the awesome Canadian shows back in the day.
Yeah.
I don't
Hey, they're
know any.
rebooting Kids in the Hall, I hear.
With them or like or rebooting, so like new younger people.
Reboot,
Or?
yeah. Netflix is doing a Kids in the Hall now, I think. Or it
Interesting.
might be I think
Kids in
it's
the
Netflix.
Hall. They were the first. Well, y'all don't even probably remember the people from the state or Reno 911, right? It's the same
I know
actors.
that one.
Yeah, well, all those actors came. They were a comedy troupe together, and they were on a TV show, and that's kind of like Kids in the Hall. Or what's another example? There's all like Broken Lizard that did.
Yeah. They're a Canadian comedy troupe, and they did a show that actually made it down in the States. A lot of Americans watched it, but it was it would not be played on TV nowadays.
Oh.
The language used, the words used would not fly in today's world. It would not be considered politically correct. Be very politically incorrect.
They were funny because they didn't have any women, so they would anytime they'd play a role of a woman, they were just it's just this weird, ugly Canadian guys playing the women,
and they would use the F-double-G word quite a bit, even though some of them were gay, and they'd use it in their skits to actually
be hilarious.
Be hilarious.
I know very little of that kind of TV.
Avant-garde and actually furthering the cause of gay people, whereas they weren't making fun of them; they were actually trying to get them more accepted.
Bring more awareness.
They always showed them late. They always showed Kids in the Hall late here when I could catch them. It would always be like midnight or even after that.
And it actually played on the public broadcasting station up here.
Wow.
So the Canadian didn't censor them.
CBS, the Canadian Broadcasting Station.
The CBC, Canadian Broadcasting
Corporation. Yeah, CBS was taken, so.
Like, that's okay. We'll just amend the last
sorry
word.
about that, CBS 8.
Yeah, sorry.
In England, they got the BBC, right? The British Broadcasting Corporation.
Yeah.
It's government-owned.
We have Spike Network.
Yeah.
I miss Spike.
I don't.
It's
so bad, dude. It was so bad. 1001 Ways to Die. Come on.
Yeah.
Ridiculous programming. So you played guitar. You played that. What about the 90s? Or like in your
so I graduated high school in 91, but I want to say it's sometime around that time, like Xbox. When did Xbox come out?
2001?
Yeah, early 2000s.
Or 2000 or 2001.
So, yeah, we're probably still doing some Nintendo then. Never
64?
really did the PlayStation.
You have a 64?
Oh, okay.
64?
I never did. I think I had the original Nintendo for a while.
You have a Sega Genesis?
No.
Oh, man.
So there's maybe a few years where I don't play much. We play at friend's house, right? Play whatever.
Yeah, light play. You played a game or two of something competitive.
Yeah. When Xbox came out, though, my buddy convinced me to get one. And one of the first games he really convinced me with, that he said you have to try, was Morrowind. I'd played Madden before that, right? Sports games.
I got you, huh?
He gave me Morrowind. I tried it. I hated it. I went to him and said, like, what the hell are you doing? Giving me this game that I get this iron dagger to start with, and I can't kill a mud crab. I can't even hit it, and it kills me. Like, what's going on, dude? And he's like, stick with it. It gets so much better. I'm like, but I don't know where to go. Like, there's no marker telling me where to go on this map.
Yeah.
And it's huge.
It's huge.
Like, give me some idea of what to do. And he's like, you can do anything you want in that game. Play it however you want. And so one day I finally tried it again, and I finally found a town in Morrowind for my character because I was wandering in the wilderness just dying. And then I just slowly started playing it and was like, you know what? Now I have to figure this game out. Now I have to understand it. And I tried to and played it for I bet you I played it for 4 years.
Wow.
I played it a little, always a little Madden, but I could always go and play Morrowind. And in that game, there was literally no quest markers. When you got a quest and they told you to go east and to this place, you had to pay attention and write that shit down.
Yeah, you had to actually listen to the instructions given.
Where you were going. And at that time, I didn't have a computer at my house. I could have looked it up on the internet. There was a forum I could go to, but I didn't have a computer at my house. So at work, sometimes I'd actually have to write notes, go to work, then after work, like sit there on my computer every 10 minutes and look up some stuff that I would need to then go home and play this game. And then once I started really playing that, it was like, okay, when's the next Elder Scrolls coming out? When am I getting? And then they released Oblivion, and I played that, and then Skyrim. Played a few other games. Knights of the Old Republic was one of my favorites. That game, that franchise broke my heart when they turned it into an MMO for the third one. I was like, what are you doing?
Do you have any past MMO experience? Is ESO your first in Maine, I suppose?
ESO was my first, and I played Skyrim for about 4 or 5 years, actually.
Oh.
And I was like, I need something new, and they're not coming out. I'm just going to try this Elder Scrolls game. I've played lots of Elder Scrolls. It should be easy for me to figure out. And then I started playing it, and it is nothing like the previous games, nothing like the solo games. The lore is still there, but the actual gameplay and what you do is so different.
Vastly.
Yeah, and I spent the first 6 months, I want to say, just questing. I didn't join a guild. I didn't do a dungeon till I was over level 300. I didn't do any trials till then. I just was trying to figure out the basics of this game, and it took me about 6 months to realize I need to talk to someone. I need to join a guild. So I joined a social guild. And I remember this guy asked me, well, what's your monster set? And I was over level 300, and I said, well, what's a monster set?
Yeah.
I have no idea what you're even talking about. Mm-hmm. And he's like, well, are you DPS? Are you a tank? Are you whatever? And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Ask me a different one. Try a different question.
Yeah. So at the time, I was my main Templar, which I use in the prog with you on Monday Night's Brew.
Yeah.
Sword and board. And use jabs, magic jabs. So I was trying to be like a Skyrim character, like a sword and shield guy that could use magic. Well, that's not entirely workable in this game to be any good. So when
it's getting closer and closer in the modern state of the game, but at the time, not at all.
But
he was probably thinking just like Skyrim, you can just do whatever you want, right? Yeah, you could have a shield in one hand and a spell in the other, and make it happen correctly.
That's what I did in Skyrim and in Morrowind and in Oblivion. Okay. But in this game, I came across Maelstrom Arena when I was about level 250, and I was just watching around Rothgar. And I went into Maelstrom, and I could not get past the frozen round on normal.
Yeah.
I just didn't have the DPS, and I didn't understand.
Didn't understand the max of the trolls, I would imagine.
Did you light attack weave at that point?
Well, I knew that I was supposed to light attack in between skills, actually, because they put that on the screens in between, on the load screens. They actually tell you about light attack weaving on load screens. And I would they do that in sort of all the Elder, and I would read them and go, okay, now I know that's a thing, or I need to learn out about that. So I learned, but understanding a whole rotation and how skills should all be timed off each other, and there's an order to it. I didn't know any of that, but I would light attack because I realized
that's a damn good start.
with
still
this
wasn't.
sword and
I'm
board.
with the sword and sword, and I'm trying to puncture these things, and
Wow.
I'm not a tank. I'm not a DPS. I'm whatever. I'm a questing character. It was fun though. I had a good time. I kept playing, so I must have enjoyed it.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, I can remember like just starting the game and going like, "What's going on?" Didn't ever play a thing, but I'd run a dungeon. But I'd just go down my rotation, this skill, then this skill, then this skill, then this skill, swap bars, this skill, then this skill, this skill, swap bars, start over. No
Yeah.
weaving or anything. I'm like, why would I weave? That's wasting time. I could be doing skills that do
Skills do more damage. That was
Like,
See, I
and
knew
then
there
you
must be a
learn.
thing because they told you to light it. They told you to to do the light attacks. But
I
I was
ignored
actually
all those.
also playing in first person at that point. I tanked my first trial of Cloud Rest. I went downstairs as the tank in first person.
Awesome.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I met somebody in guild chat the other night. They're like, "Hey, I'm trying to make this build," and I forget how it came up, but they had mentioned that they were playing in first person. They just liked it like that because they came from Skyrim, and I said, "Oh, that's going to be probably one of those first things you change. Is start getting used to playing in third person because
Mhm.
you need to be able to see, and first person is just too limited in that."
I did Maelstrom on
Playing
Vet
in
and
first
first person
person
one
now,
time.
it feels like wrong to me now when I play in first person. Like sometimes you're going along and it accidentally pops into first person, and I'm like, "Oh my god, I need to get out of this because I can't see what's going on."
Something's behind me. Something's behind me.
Yeah.
Fucking camera, man. That camera's gotten me killed so many times. And Elden Ring too. We'll have a whole episode on the fucking camera sometime.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to get used to the new. I'm using the other template now, so like my jump isn't A. It's press down on the stick to jump.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
pro
Yeah.
stratting over here.
Hey,
Well,
that's the way to
otherwise,
do it.
then you can roll
Controller
dodge and
type
not
B.
jump.
Controller type B, and then you have paddles. Just jump with your right paddle. That's what I do it in every game now. Paddles are life changing. You can get a controller paddles. It doesn't have to be the
I
elite.
have paddles they don't program. So
Oh, what?
yeah, I know. What?
I've had a controller do that too, but that's broken, I guess.
Ugh.
I don't know. I followed the instructions. I read the instructions, and it did not. That did not help.
You can't program them? Even in the Xbox accessories menu?
No.
Well, most of the paddles controllers, you hold a button down in the back, and then it'll start blinking, and then you press what button you want to,
What are you supposed to do, and what you
and
want
then
to
you
move?
hit the paddle. Yeah, and then the paddle, and then it's
That doesn't
done.
work.
And
And then I went into the
Usually does.
Xbox one, and you can actually tell it what you want it to do. It's just drop down menus and stuff.
Mm.
That did not help.
Yeah, I don't
And I
know.
wanted the bar swap on the paddle.
Yeah,
And it's not
absolutely,
that's the bar swap.
absolutely. It's still awesome.
So now sometimes I accidentally hit the paddle and it presses like the A button or whatever button now because I've changed the template. And I'm like doing stuff I don't want to when I like pick up the controller.
I'll have to figure that
I'm
out.
so awesome at technology, it's not even funny.
Hey, you made it here with us on video, and we can hear you. So
Yeah, not on my laptop like I had planned to, but
that's all right.
we made. Yeah,
Your phone has a nice camera.
it's like I told Brue the night. I do all the twitchy, streamy stuff now.
He's growing up in the world. It's beautiful.
And now I see him on the Twitch, like chatting and shit. I'm like, this is awesome.
I can type in great. I have no idea about the game or the heists. There's heists.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
Is there
There's-
pirate thing?
That's
Shame,
what confuses
Jerry.
Toasty too. Is there's two different currencies in the channel. One currency is the one you see at the bottom of the chat. I call them crew coins on my channel for anybody curious that's listening. And then there's like a text-based mini games that are based out of what it's called Streamlabs, or it's one of the bots I use. But that keeps track of its own currency. Both are acquired just from watching. But with the Streamlabs currency, call them Brue Bucks, you can gamble them, you can put them up for heists, you can duel people with them, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah. I have dual Dark. He talked me through a duel. I lost. I didn't even know I had any money to do this. I don't know how this works.
Fun, isn't it?
They're just little things
Sure.
to keep people engaged. It's fun. You don't have to play by any means. Appreciate you watching though.
Yeah, it's good to see that actually
I do like watching, though. I do find it interesting.
from a different perspective, or just yeah.
It is, yeah.
I'll be watching
Actually,
Brue the
like, I
same
have to sit
trial
there
we're
and be
in.
talking to you, like on a Monday night, but then actually see you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he might want to see me, but fucking, I can't figure this technology out. Fuck it.
What's great is if I see Brue go down, I can quickly look at the stream because it's a few seconds behind, and it's like an instant replay. I can see what killed Brue.
Yeah, you get to see how
or
I die.
what happened, what happened around his vicinity. Like I can just kind of check it out.
Well,
And not that I do that a lot in Mass
you
2.
can buy a lot on Monday nights.
One more time?
If you watch the stream enough, you get to see actually me die a lot on Monday nights.
Yeah. And I include our audio for our progs most of the time. Progs and
The
cores.
Frostbolts. I caught some of those Frostbolt runs.
Yeah. Then you watch me die a lot.
Those frost faults were so rough. Oh my.
Frostbolt, yeah. That hard mode sucks. Just because it's that mouse phase. Right. If you coordinated on that, once we got that down, Crispy, when we did that day with was it Crispy and Fly? Shout out.
Yeah.
We just sat there and like, just hammered it out because we had time. Man,
And on my
when you
GPS,
have
I didn't
time.
struggle on the mouse phase. It was the fucking getting knocked off in the last in execute.
Oh, yeah, those vents start blowing people off, and you gotta avoid those and the flame wall in exit.
Yeah. And I could not avoid them.
Boy,
This
I
is
love
fine.
knocking those automatons off though with the javelin. That's
That
so
is
much
pretty
fun.
pretty satisfying. I threw on the Destro staff one.
Because you're one
Knocks
shot.
backs.
You're done.
Whack.
You're done.
Whack.
Interrupt him or we'll die.
Well, what are you getting into these days, Crispy? What's kind of the current state of things for you? What are you going after? What are you trying to achieve?
There's two things I want to achieve in the Elder Scrolls. I want to get Vast 2 and a VCR 3.
Oh, those last
So
two skins.
Skins I need. And our core is in Vast 2 and we're struggling. I'm not sure what the problem is. Honestly. I don't know if I'm the problem. I'm wondering that because we've struggled in there, and it's a good group. I don't know why we're struggling so bad. And I know we struggled for a couple of weeks because I had really bad internet, and I kept crashing.
Oh, that was tough. That was on you. That's on your shoulders. Crispy DCing and Fast 2, and we wiped. That's because Crispy's DCing.
But we've had healer like for a while now, just because of just random whatever. Like poor Havoc was having the DC issues at the end of Mob Lord Kaj. Like it's never a part of our team. It's always like an outside or a little bit of extenuating circumstances, like a subs needed, or But when we can hammer it out, and we only have like 2 hours a week,
Yeah, I think both timing. We lose too much week to week potentially because we're not in there in other groups, or we have so many subs week to week. We're not having a cohesive team every time doing the same thing.
Real difficult.
Yeah.
But we're on the cusp. I mean, we got close. We got down to like 10%. That week, Tribes was in, and that was just a one-off. I guess she was just filling in, but that one clicked. But we got in there fast and was on it.
We got into a good groove in that pool, but we haven't been able to find that groove again where we're taking films down at a good rate that we don't need to overly focus him, and we can maintain our damage on ohms.
I do think there's a lot of mechanics I have to do in there on the healer at the back, but I feel like kind of getting the timing down, like the groove of.
You're doing a lot better back there from what I've seen.
Stuff. Yeah. It's when I try and do too much, if I have to try and come up and, if things are going really south and I have to try and res someone, it's a danger zone, or if I have to do anything but stay back behind this line, if I can stay behind that line, things are good. It means you don't get as many heals, though, or
Yeah.
any sort of heal or resource relief.
But that's why
But
we're all
it's
wearing death
death
dealers.
dealers. Yeah. Yeah, there's a certain line. Once I go above, and I do have to go up and forward of that line sometimes, but
For your
if I
ulti.
stay if I stay there, that's the danger zone. That's when, the jump happens at the wrong spot and we start getting AoEs where they shouldn't be. And
What did you think of
it's
that
one
new
little thing.
strat of the line of sight this past week we tried?
I liked it, actually. The listeners may have noticed that Dab called for a certain strategy. We didn't necessarily follow his callouts, but we just made sure we were in line of sight the whole time, and I think it went smoother.
Yeah, I do too.
Trying to call out Snacky and I to be on the same side at all times is actually really hard, and we didn't do that. We didn't even try it. Snacky and I just were like, we got enough going on, but keeping the line of sight, we kept the jumps clear, which did help.
Yeah, it's when
They
you
weren't
can't see Felms or Lothus that the jump starts happening in group for whatever reason. It's the furthest
Yeah,
person in
and
the
then
way that can see them, I think, is the mechanic.
yeah, and I think if we can control that, be much better. Because once you go off the rails, there it just gets worse. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You got to stay on the tracks and be in control the whole time. And once you lose control, it's hard to get it back. It's hard to right that ship. You know what I
Both of
mean?
these mini trials, I think, are like that. Both Cloud Rest and Asylum Sanctorum are very much mechs will start building up on you quickly.
Yeah.
It's very hard.
Be honest, as soon as Ohms gets out of his position or turns and walks towards like DPS, God forbid, I'm like, we should reset at that point. Like that's kind of, I mean, it's fun to like keep trying to do it, but then it's just struggle bus until we wipe usually.
That's why that one week I said, I threw out the suggestion. I'll be the guy that says, hey, we've been stuck at this wall for like the past 6-7 pulls. We should just call it. Like we're not making any progress. Clearly something's wrong. We need to talk it out and figure it out later. Well, anyway, Crispy, you never played any other MMOs besides ESO? You never after your initial start at ESO said, fuck this, I'm gonna try another game?
No, I don't have time for other games, man. I've started to play a little bit of Citizen Revolution again. I was on and off with that for a while, as always, but it's like a turn-based take over the world kind of game.
Sid Meier's.
Sid Meier's, Civ, what number? Civ 6 they're on?
Yeah. See, I'm still playing the original Xbox version though.
Oh.
That I have on mine. I've played it for years, but it's always on and off, and I don't, I'll take a break from something and I'll just go be mindless and try and take over the world. And
who doesn't like to be a world leader?
Yeah, I've been playing it a little bit actually after Core on Wednesday nights. I've sort of decided I'm just gonna hang out. Sometimes I watch TV now. Sometimes I just go fishing in ESO. Sometimes I play Citizen Revolution. Just relax for a little bit.
Yeah. I too like to, especially after harder PvE content, I have to go do something else after. Yeah, it may be in game, it may be another game, but I gotta decompress. That's why I've been doing a good bit of PvP lately. I need to go to that world and just try to do something else for a while.
Yeah, I might have to try PvP one day.
Well, you whooped that ass though in the baby BGs during the event.
In the battleground, I can do all right. I think Cyrodiil is very different though. I don't think the build in Battlegrounds would work in Cyrodiil from what I see. I mean, I'm no Cyrodiil expert, but just the terrain is different. The strategies are different. You have way more room to move around in Cyrodiil. You can run away. In a Battleground, you can't really run from me. But I know where that whole
You
that's a
can't
small
run
area.
from me.
I mean, yeah. Actually, I was very disappointed in my Battlegrounds performance during the festival.
Oh,
I got a
no.
lot of kills. I got the Bloodletter achievement before level 50 on my guy, which is I think 1,000 kills.
1,000, yeah, in Battlegrounds. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
I got it by level 42.
But 450 too.
Jesus.
Yes, but I got 0 hate mail or whispers during the festival, and I would normally get them.
That was his true goal.
That's a sign that you're really doing it well. And I was like, no one. They either tell you you're an asshole or ask you for your build, and I got none of that. And I was
No
so
Lord,
disappointed.
you didn't see your arch nemesis, Lord of Jesus, this year.
No, I didn't, and that's really who I'm going in there to kill, and he is not around.
Oh man.
Mm-hmm. People ask me why I played the under 50 battlegrounds, and it's like it's the game within the game. You know you're going to kill a bunch of noobs, but mixed in a bunch of those noobs are some sharks that are there to feed off the noobs, and that's who you're really trying to be better than. Those sharks.
You wouldn't be top shark.
Alpha shark.
Yeah.
That bull shark testosterone.
And do you wear
Yeah.
like full on 5-piece sets in your baby BGs, right?
Oh yeah.
You got golded out
I'm
and shit.
constructing gear from dungeons, like using Calorians or Mad Tinkerer. I've used both those in the under 50s. I also will make gear. I used to use New Moon and Ancient Dragon Guard, and I'd have
Yeah.
gear, like weapons every 5 levels and armor every 10 levels, and it would all be purple with gold enchantments. And so at like level 20, right, I'd pull out a new staff, and then at either 24 or 26, I'd pull out another one. And at level 30, he'd get new armor and the jewelry too. And it would all be like blue jewelry, purple weapons, gold enchants, purple armor pieces. And I had a whole, like more than a 60 coffer full of those sets of armors ready to go.
Just a whole
And
trading coffer. I love it.
Yeah, so you take one character and I could do a mag DK, any mag character. That's what I was set up for. And I could do any class that could wear that armor.
Yeah.
And I actually I tried a Warden, a Templar, a Mag DK, a Sork, and a Necro. I never did a Mag Blade in under 50 Battlegrounds, but I did the other classes. And
Damn, blades are fun.
I just haven't gotten around to it. I mean, that's a lot of stuff. I do love my Templars and my Mag DKs. That's what I really excel at. I would like to do a blade. I understand my blade a little better. I played it a little more in PvE now, and I think I could do a decent mag blade character in the Battlegrounds. I just haven't had a chance. And now they've taken the deathmatch out of Battlegrounds. I'm not in there right now.
Yeah.
I'm set up to play deathmatch, and that's what I want to play. I don't want to play the land grab games. I don't mind them; they can be fun. That's just not what I want to do. I can't figure out for the life of me why ESO doesn't. You used to be able to queue in for a deathmatch or a land grab game, and I think that's what they should do.
I think they're reworking them right now, which is why they're temporarily out this patch cycle.
Yeah, but it's not rocket science. It's just a simple PvP thing. Give the people the choice like you had to start with. You did it right. It worked well for many years. Why did we took away the deathmatch? Made it all deathmatch for a while, which wasn't good. Now we have no deathmatch. Like
they really need to figure it out.
Yeah, split it in the middle. Give people the choice, and it should be very easy to see if it works. You could see the players on the server. Are they in this? Are they using this service? If so, then keep doing it.
Yeah.
I know some people do love the Battleground. Some people love Cyrodiil. Some people do both. Right?
Yeah. Absolutely. My build goes both ways. So my build can do PvP or in Cyrodiil. It can go to Imp City or it can go in Battlegrounds. It doesn't matter. It's more a gank blade's a gank blade, I'll figure it out. I may have to modify my play style a little bit, but
Well, I'd slaughter you in the under 50s with your gank blade. You'd
absolutely
never
would.
live.
Absolutely would.
No,
I rely
only
on CP heavily.
Yeah, but the passives on there under 50, you really have to know your builds.
Yeah.
And so the whole staying invisible, you're not going to have enough burst to burst me down when you come out of invisibility. You're just going to be fodder.
Do you think we'll ever? You think we'll ever get Champion Point Battlegrounds?
I doubt it.
I honestly don't know why they don't do Champion Point Battlegrounds.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know.
A PvP mode that encourages people to not focus on the CP, but focuses on sets and builds.
Or like give us 12-on-12 team battles. Like, why does it have to be the 3? It's always the 3 factions fighting or 3 teams. It's like, well,
yeah, like the 12. It would be nice to be able to run a guild event where it's 12 people from a guild going into the battlegrounds. Man,
like, guild battles, dude. You could have like unofficial guild battles where you have tournaments and whatever. Dude, that'd be.
And I don't know why we can't do it. And technically, you shouldn't even need 12 people. You should only need 6 people because you should all be able to pull out a companion and do it.
Yeah.
Companions in PvP.
Companions in PvP. Wow, what easy kills.
Yeah. Well, you obviously don't count them as like as much experience as a player killer, but why have the companion then? What are we doing?
It's to help the solo players, Crispy.
Following world bosses.
Yeah. So
useful. Normal trials.
No, man, they're so useful for that.
My companion's a little overrated to me, or I don't.
Yeah.
I got it for the passives it gives you. Went through the quest line, and you get some sick, cool like treasure loot from Miri. Like anytime.
That's fine. And now I can't wait. The cards coming, and I'm going to banish you to the Shadow Realm and all sorts of stuff. It's going to be great.
What's funny is to show up to a world boss and see like 3 people there, some sweaty world boss with their companions, and I'm like, I don't want to pull mine out. I don't need it. She's not helping me that much.
No,
I have yet to max a companion. I always have other people. Like at no point in my overworld adventures am I saying, I think I need a little help, and like no one's around.
You get sick loot though all the time, even when she's not around. Like Miri, once you max hers out, she's not around. You're getting extra loot from everything.
Yes,
yeah, I should. I just have
character.
Oh, okay.
I originally had ideas of farming companion gear and selling it. I thought that was supposed to be a big money maker, big gold maker.
That shit, the rare pieces go for like hundreds of thousands.
Yeah, but the drop rates.
Dude, it's so hard. I know the drop rate's ridiculous.
Because that's all I could get. Like
I don't even have all purple stuff for my companion. And I've been playing nonstop.
I got a couple purple pieces that I found, but the drops haven't been very good to me personally. So
they turn that way down. That's significant. It's crazy. Because you can get them.
And I did not buy any companion gear other than white gear off the general merchant for my companion.
Yeah, fuck them.
No,
they don't deserve the.
They got a nice mount. I will admit they got some nice mounts, but that's it.
They get pissed off way too easily. Like they get angry with you for picking up butterflies. Come on, man, that's so annoying. Or walking into the Dark Brotherhood, the Guild of Assassins, they get upset.
Yeah, just because we're going to kill people. I don't want you around if you're going to judge all my actions, okay?
We can kill a whole village of innocents, but if I blade of woe the most evil person in the world, rapport goes down. Nobody should die like that. He's a mass murderer.
Yeah, well, if he was a rapist.
I did it easy way, but like pummel him with my hammer, you're all about that? You're like, yeah, let's get these fetches. Crazy.
Yeah, those poor torch bugs.
He just gets grossed out of it. Well, what about what you've been doing recently, gang? Besides, I don't know. I would ask Crispy. I don't think Crispy's playing any other games right now besides the Civilization or the.
I downloaded the Halo, but have not played the Halo.
Okay.
Nice.
I enjoyed some of that campaign. The multiplayer is a little bit played out to me just because I played so much Halo 2 and 3. Like, and it's nothing's
Yeah.
vastly changed in that regard. But
Yeah, I haven't played Halo since I don't know when, 2 or 3. I'm not sure. I did play the original one. That was awesome when it came out. Awesome game.
oh yeah, beautiful.
I don't know if
Just
the
like,
new one's really all, but
yeah, it's a game changer.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
And I downloaded Worms, and we've never played that, Dark.
Well, we need to get on that. That's a lot of fun. Or a few of
Downloaded
us to
what?
play. Worms,
Worms.
WMD. It's on Game Pass. You should pick it up, Brew, because it's one of those games we could just get together and goof off and play it. Like fun. You could stream it.
It's a turn-based game, and you're basically a worm, and your basic weapon is a bazooka. And you just have to kill the other teams.
You
There's
get
like
all
4
kinds of weapons and
different
stuff.
teams. We get grenades and bazookas.
Yeah.
We call it air strikes, all kinds of stuff.
And you're a
little
worm?
worms. Yeah,
You're
you're
like
worms.
A worm
You're
with
doing
no
warfare.
arms?
No, you
Yeah.
have. Do you have arms?
Kind of have arms? I mean, you're
Yeah, you
firing
kind
a
of
bazooka.
have arms. You're a cartoon worm with arms, I think. But
It's a whole
you can move a little bit. You can reposition. There's all kinds of gadgets you can use. You can call in airstrikes and rockets, and it's.
Is there a
fun
holy
little
hand
stupid-
grenade in WMD?
Oh yeah.
There's been because the
There's
holy
a
hand
meteor
grenade-
shower. You can call in meteors to rain down. Like
You
it's
used to be able
it's
to
a
do an
fun little game.
nuclear test and like sink half the map.
Yeah, I think you can still do a lot of that stuff. It's wild. You can set how crazy it gets.
Wow. I'll check it out.
Yeah, it's a long-running series of games. Worms. There's
Brew, what you been dilly
Well-
yeah. We played.
last week?
Well, I have been watching, speaking of Halo, I've been watching the Halo series that's coming out on Paramount. I have a couple critiques of it. That like, I never wanted to know so much about Master Chief personally. I wanted to watch Master Chief's adventures. But it's very much going into like the backstory of John 117. And I'm like, okay, like that's interesting, but I wanted to see battles and shit. Like that's why I was watching this Halo show.
Yeah, his
Not why we-
humanity. Yeah, his humanity has never been an interesting point. He's like Doom Guy. He's a shell that the player just transposes themselves on
Correct.
to get through stuff. He's never been like, and dude, there's like 800 Halo books out there though. Like the lore of Halo is surprisingly very deep.
Oh.
There's been a few movies, few CGI, so they've really like delved into that. We used to think he was the only Spartan left, but that
Yeah.
wasn't the case. There's like more out there still alive, blah blah blah. So
Yeah, and that part doesn't
whatever.
bother me that, we're seeing other Spartans around the start of the Spartans. All right, Crispy. But, in terms of games I'm playing, Tiny Tina's has still been wonderful.
Yeah.
Slow but steady progress. It's a game I can come back to whenever.
Is it a
There's
big
no
game?
rush. Yeah,
is it it's got a lot of content?
so far? I spent 2 hours on like the first zone because I was trying to find all these lucky die.
Was that $40 or 60?
It was a 60.
It was okay. It
Yeah.
it better be a lot of content. That was my
Yeah.
only concern, was that it may not have they may have gone way more into the quality than the length and everything. So
I just love all the D&D references. I find it funny. I relate to it because I played a little D&D, and that's the kind of fantasy world that I like personally.
right, yeah.
So
Love it.
that's always fun.
I
And
can't
then-
wait till we eventually get a D&D tabletop somehow game going at some point in our lives.
I'm sure we will. I think once there's a
That'd be
good enough
so much fun.
technology, but there's just some virtual D&D stuff right now. I don't like them. They seem overly complicated to me. But been playing some Smite. Still love me some Smite. Been playing some Fortnite. No building. It's still so much fun.
you got me into that. I actually played a couple games the other day.
And you got a
'cause I was like,
victory
let me see what this is
royale.
about. And you know what the fucked up part was? I was like, no build, cool. And the first game I went into, I didn't know you had to select the no build. They still have the build.
Yeah, there's
So-
yeah.
so I was like,
game mode.
Bullshit, this is bullshit. Because I accidentally pulled out my fucking
Build menu.
templates and shit. And I was like, no, 'cause I got to relearn the combat system. But then I died that match. But then I was like, let me go this no build thing. Won my first match. I know that all the bots and players are shitty in that one, but I still won it. And I was like, you know what, this isn't that bad. It's a fun little shooter.
Yeah.
Person shooter, which I like.
What was that game you were playing where you throw people out of the airlock?
PUBG.
Oh, Among Us.
Oh, that game.
So the guild had an Among Us session where we were. I had never played before, but I had won my first ever game in Among Us. I had sliced Red in half. I got to be the imposter. I was like, all right. We killed one of the experienced people. King was the only other experienced person left, but he was nowhere around. And I managed to convince everyone I didn't know what I was doing enough that I wasn't the killer. It was a lot of fun.
I was watching your stream doing that, and I was playing, ESO, of course, at the time, and I'd look down, and every time I'd look down, I'd see Trey being thrown out an airlock. I swear to God, it was like every time
has been ejected.
They killed Trey again, and Dark's telling me, "Oh yeah, they pick someone to throw." And I'm like, they keep throwing out Trey every time I turn around.
I voted Trey every time.
Yeah, we were very suspicious of Trey.
I think it's because Trey doesn't know how to lie well at all, so she's immediately suspicious because of that. Even if she's telling the truth, it sounds sketchy. It's just like you're sketchy, Trey. That was fun.
That was fun. Thank you, Red, for setting that up. Red Foxtail.
I'm glad I got to catch the end of that. So I've been in Elden Ring. Let me just tell you that. Deep.
What level are you? What level are you?
200.
Oh my god. Oh my god. No wonder I haven't seen Darkside in game for a while.
Listen, I gotta conquer that before I can rest easy and settle back to my normal self. No, it's drawn me in so much, dude. And I say what you want. I'm really enjoying the brutality of that game. And I found so a new patch came out for the game. They do patch it, and they do nerf, and they do buff stuff. And I found this cheese where you just jump off the map, and it's a sweaty area, but you can just kind of run through it. You jump off the side of this cliff, and you just fall through the map. And as you're falling, you swing your sword, right? Or you'll die. It'll kill you if you don't. So you have to swing your sword while you're falling on this horse, right? And it just gives you 200,000 experience. And then you just teleport back and redo it. And that's a lot. That's a lot of XP in that game. So that's hours worth of killing. Or killing 3 huge bosses. Which would take just a long time. Or it's, and once you kill a boss, it's not like they come back.
I heard there was also a glitch to gain a bunch of runes.
Yeah, there's all kinds of little stuff, and that really it's a cheese, but you want to be a slightly overpowered in that game because they give you the option to be. It just takes a lot of grinding, but with these methods, you want to stay ahead of the game because the game is so brutal. So if you can get a little bit stronger and not, it can really help you out. But yeah, just. It really pushes so many of the buttons that I had for when I was a kid going what's the ultimate fantasy game? I played, when you play Oblivion or Skyrim, you're like, this is an amazing world. How could it even be cooler? What's the next one going to be? Or Elder Scrolls 6, what's that going to be like? And this one really hit a lot of the keynotes that I personally had my checklist for amazing, just visually, the atmosphere, the ambiance, the brutality, but you know what? Once you get good, you're just like ESO in a way.
Are you way overpowered now?
No, I mean the top level's 713. I'm 200, right? 220 or something. I am for some of the lower levels, and that's great because if I need to go back in and grind or farm something, I don't have to. I can just go and just. I've gotten a couple key weapons too that are just amazing, and just. Casting a spell in that game or just doing whatever you're doing with your setup, especially when you start getting stronger. It's just amazing, man. It's that feeling when you melt a boss in an ESO in a vet dungeon or whatever, when you just like that's all the time, and it's just you doing these incredible, like you're powerful. It really gives you the sense of like, I'm a powerful warrior, mage, whatever. I'm the shit. You know, you just take out something that's strong, huge, right? You're riding your horse around these gigantic Goliaths that are, you know, so big. You can't believe you're fighting something so gigantic, and then you beat it, and you're like, fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. So it's fun. So I just had to say that because
And it scratched your itch for a single player game. It's everything you had wanted.
well you can and you can play with your friends. I mean, there's PvP in it. I mean, like, and not that I've gotten into a lot of that. I'd love to play with any of you out there.
Ass.
He told me he was going to get it this weekend. Felonious, get the game.
You son of a bitch.
But anyway, it is sweaty, and but once you get going and once you get good, you learn how to do it. You know, so I encourage anybody out there, if you're on the fence, you're like, oh man, if you're just crappy and you can't do any kind of gaming, yeah, maybe stay away from it. But if you like a challenge, but one you can stick with, and it's gratifying, and you will get better in it. It's tough, yes, but you're tougher, maybe.
That game sounds cool. Everything I hear with that. Oh, Dark Souls is blah. I've never played a Dark Souls.
I want a challenge, man. You know, it's like I there's so many games out there that I've played in my life where I'm like, there's certain challenges I don't want, like a Civilization, like playing that game like on the toughest mode. Oh my god, you know what I mean? Like that's a headache I don't know if I'd want to deal with, like all the multitasking and the stuff you're doing. That kind of stuff gets me anxious. You know what I mean?
Oh, I'm gonna get my butt kicked at the highest level of that game. I'm really not that great.
Like Gandhi. There was a glitch where Gandhi would be the first person to start firing nukes.
First, if you're in a game with Gandhi, you take him out first. Because he's coming at you.
Hilarious.
The first one gonna declare war on you. I don't know what it is, but that is always true, Gandhi.
What an homage.
He is. He's like, he always starts out like he sends you a friendly message, and then the next one is the war, and then next turn, oh, we're at war now.
Gandhi.
Pacifist
my ass.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
How you feeling, Brue?
Not
great. How you feeling? I'm sorry. You didn't have to go puke more snot, did you?
No, I'm just I'm muting frequently so I don't get my sneezes on the recording.
Well, before Brue expires, the whole world wants to know, and I'm working on the intro music for this, so I'll have it probably ready next week. But the Brue Cinematic Universe, the experience to ingratiate Brue into the world of cinema, as most of us know it, we had him watch a classic action thriller suspense. Yes, whatever. James Cameron movie, The Terminator, the original with Arnold, 1984, the Gamertags. What'd you think? Okay, and the reason I really wanted to watch this one was because Terminator 2 would be my first pick, but you can't. You could probably watch the second one without watching the first one, but you shouldn't, right? Maybe.
Yeah, it's nice to know the backstory, I suppose.
So first take, what's up?
Overall, this movie was not good. I'm giving it like a 4 out of 10. Bad movie.
That's fair. 4 though?
Yeah, I did not enjoy it.
Okay.
Some things you should understand about me first and foremost, though, is I'm not a big action guy. So watching people just blow each other away, it doesn't tickle my penis. You know, it just, okay, big guns, that's cool. It's also super old action, which, old action doesn't really live up compared to me growing up on the computer-generated everything.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's fair. That movie is very dated, and it's, it's not my favorite either. Like, it's pretty low. But it was
premise
important.
Was cool.
Yeah.
So, for those who haven't watched it, Terminator is set in 1980 something
86, 84,
as like the
86.
present day, and then there's a future war happening in 2029, which I got a kick out of. I was like, oh, this is supposed to be happening in like 7 years. This is funny because
Yeah.
it looks nowhere close to what's actually going on in the world, and we have not made.
Well,
this
we
kind of
averted that
advancement.
timeline, Brew. We averted that timeline.
Are we even close to that kind of technology? No. All right.
I mean, Elon Musk and Skynet go hand in hand. Okay, go ahead.
Maybe one day. But yeah, I mean, it's set in the 80s. Two people are sent from the future to try and kill this woman, who would be the mother to the leader of the revolution.
One person
militia.
is sent to kill. One person is sent to kill.
Oh, and the other one's sent to protect.
Yeah.
Well, when you find out later in the movie, one person's sent to protect / fuck the lady.
Yeah! That's the only way he could produce his son who would send him back.
And they had the picture. The
Paradox.
picture. This dude has been like obsessed over this girl over one picture for like his whole adult life. Like, come on, dude. You've been tugging it to one picture that's not very sexual
is hard.
at all.
Life is hard in the
You
dystopian
don't have
future
the
where
internet,
Skynet
man.
rules.
That was like life before the internet.
I guess so. If you only have a picture of a girl, you're just like imagine her naked. And it's just like yeah.
Sears
I'm
catalog,
the Terminator!
catalog.
Catalog.
I'm not
Yeah,
joking.
you whack off to Good Housekeeping.
Definitely the 1970s.
Yeah, I mean, pickings were slim back then. You had to sit in a field and wait for a cloud shape like a boob to come by.
And didn't have that luxury.
I grew up spoiled. What can I say? The internet's a wonderful thing. I reached my manhood when Panda Movies was around. .com.
So Westworld, the movie. All right, y'all know the hit franchise on. Or
I
the
thought it was a
series on
TV
Nick-
series.
Well, much later, but in 1973,
It's a
there
movie
was
to
a movie
me.
called Westworld, and it starred who did the Avengers kill? Who's the big guy? Thanos. The guy that plays Thanos, Josh Brolin. His dad was in the original Westworld, James Brolin, and James Cameron worked on that movie. And in that movie, the robot at the end comes alive and he's chasing down the guy, very Terminator-esque. 11 years later,
That scene was so fucking funny, where you burn the Terminator and he is still moving in the fucking factory until she finally like flattens him with the press. Oh man.
what's interesting, that comes back in Terminator 2. All right, so that's. I think when you do see Terminator 2, we might not pick that for the next movie that you watch, but like Terminator 2 is so much better, dude. Like it's top tier.
Huh.
Like
Okay.
it is action, but it's fucking good, and it has a twist in it. So it's classic, and that's what we're really getting to. But that Westworld movie in 1973, that set the foundation for Terminator and the franchise that would come, and all the
Oh yeah, a lot came out of the Terminator series.
all the
absolutely.
shitty movies that came after too. And I haven't seen the last one, but a lot of bad ones, and a lot of people were waiting for it to be either reset in the right way or this way. There was the Sarah Connor Chronicles that came out in like 2009ish TV show on like a major network too. I want to say like NBC or something, and it starred what's her name from Game of Thrones, Lannister.
Cersei Lannister.
Or Cersei Lannister. She played Sarah Connor. And it wasn't really too bad. The special effects, because it was like TV, were a little shitty, I think. But anyway, they've tried to do a lot of stuff with the Terminator franchise. But James Cameron worked on that Westworld movie, and then 11 years later, 1984, when he started wanting to do his own thing, he's like, okay. He took that
I mean, you
premise
guys
and-
who were alive back then, when this movie would have been more relevant, when you saw the Terminator's face change, like it wasn't Arnold anymore once he popped the eye out. Anytime you saw him without the shades, it was such an obvious like face mask on. Doesn't that just like take you right out of like the experience? Or at the time, was it good enough that you were like, oh yeah, hell yeah, that looks good?
I remember back then, and when movies came out and it had bad, you'd go, that's bad, but you ignore it because it's, if you were into the story or whatever, you're just like, that's part of it, I guess. From my
Like the
perspective.
Rancor scene in Return of the Jedi, some of the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Stop
the lighting's bad too. Like that's the biggest thing with that CG stuff. The lighting's off, so you're like, this thing's like a lot brighter or darker than this. The thing behind it, and it's got better. I mean, the green blue screen
their
stuff.
imagination back in those days, man. The technology was not always there. Go watch the original Clash of the Titans.
So bad. But some of those techniques were really good that they were doing. Maybe the implementation was a little choppy, but that stuff that they were doing with those like claymation skeletons doing the sword fight, some of that stuff was pretty innovative for that time. But yeah, you compare it to now, but you just kind of got to take it with a grain of salt. And Terminator 2 is leaps and bounds. Like it has industrial light and magic behind it, and some of the stuff in that movie is still holds up to this day.
Oh, cool.
Along with the practical effects. So
I think that movie was groundbreaking with the
absolutely
liquid.
the morphing technology. Yeah, that liquid, the Terminator. So definitely something to look forward to down the road, Brue. I would definitely say that's going to be a fun one. But I'm glad you watched it because now you got the "I'll be back." That was the start of Arnold saying that in everything. That was the very beginning.
I really was hoping for it in a more iconic sense, rather.
Well, that was the first one.
Walking out of a police station just to ram his car into it. Like I was like, oh, that's not. I really thought this was going to be used in different context.
But think about it. If you've never seen Arnold do that or whatever, and you were just going, oh, he said the thing, and then you were like, well, the Terminator just coming in and going like, I'll be back. And then he could just come back with his fucking car to just wreck everybody. And she knows it's supposed to be terrifying. It's like the thing that creeps or whatever. It's like it just keeps coming no matter what. And that's scary for a human to be chased, to be hunted. It's a fear and especially something that's unstoppable. That's terrifying, right? I mean, the concept of that. So that's what really gripped a lot of people was that and it had, Arnold was becoming the biggest action star ever. Right at that time.
I mean, we did get to see ass and a little part of the shaft of old Arnold, which was nice.
And did you see Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers? Okay, so the punks that he goes to in the beginning with up there with the telescope, whatever. They're at the Griffith Observatory in Los Angeles. Flea is one of the punks, man. Go back and watch it.
Is he? I didn't even know that.
Yeah, dude. Flea and Anthony Kiedis were in LA, and they were in some movies here and there. Like, if you go back and watch, Flea's actually in quite a few movies in, like, the 80s and 90s. Anyway. Good.
Oh, interesting.
Little trivia for you.
Well, we'll see what the second one looks like. I'm excited, but... Yeah, the first one
is not even near as good. I'm glad you sat through it.
What are you guys talking about?
It's a cultural milestone. It's definitely important, but it's tough for me to watch, man. It's slow pacing, even though it's like him coming at you, and it's a great concept. And
in its day, actually, it was pretty groundbreaking.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Isn't that iconic? Just the poster. With Arnold with the gun and the...
That was a sick pistol he had, though. I did love that pistol with the laser
future
sight on
pistol. It. When he does have to pick his eye out, though, it does look... You can tell it's like not even his...
Yeah, it's like a silicone mask on that you're pulling. It's like, come on.
I think they got a whole dummy head for him, just like it's a different one. He was actually like... And then looking at himself in the mirror, that's not even him.
For the time, though, it seems like it was well done. The and then peeling out the lens on top of the red eye, and I thought it.
And James Cameron didn't have budgets yet. He was, pretty. He was just starting out, so they were going to throw a bunch of money at him, and then he was successful with just about everything he touched after.
It's a better movie than Avatar.
Wow, Avatar, I thought was a good movie.
Completely religion.
I just don't care about big blue people on another planet. That's not cool to me.
Go watch a movie called Fern Gully. It's an animated movie, and instead of turning the evil corporation, instead of turning their soldiers big and infiltrating them, they turn their soldiers small but still blue, I believe, and infiltrate the village. It's literally an animated movie from my childhood called Fern Gully. It's Avatar, but animated.
And I thought that was Disney. Is that not Disney?
I don't think it was Disney animation. No.
There were a lot of companies doing that, like an American Tail with the little mouse. That wasn't Disney. That was like another animation. It might be the same one. There was some like a
I thought
French
American
animation.
Tail was Disney. Or is there another Mo? Maybe I'm thinking of another movie.
The Fievel.
Fievel, yeah.
That's the American Tail. Fievel Goes West is the sequel. That was like a French. I think I want to say a French. Anyway, neither here nor there. Well, I'm excited. We'll have to pick another movie for you to watch. Not next week, but here soon.
Yeah.
Princess Bride, man. Princess Bride.
That's a great choice, actually, if you've never seen it.
Sure haven't. Yeah, you blew past it in one of the pods we recorded. You had like mentioned something about the movie, and I just kind of stayed silent. And you're like, "You seen that?" But you kept on talking anyway, and I didn't have the heart to be like, "Of course I haven't seen it, Dark." I mean, Jesus Christ.
That's probably why I kept on, because I don't like putting you in that position every single minute of every day. Classic movie. Some people don't like that movie. I'm like, okay, but what's fucking wrong with you? Are you a serial killer? Or like, do you torture animals?
Oh, shit.
It's got action, romance, love story. Like, it's got it all, man.
Yeah. It's a cute little tale. You got Baby Fred Savage, too. What's more adorable than that in Columbo?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, of course.
Like, what the fuck?
No idea.
My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. Stop saying that. He'll get all these references one day. You can go back and listen to this, Brady. Be like, oh, yeah.
One
Of
day.
course.
Remember when we recorded that
With
podcast?
Vlad always saying, "Have fun storming the castle."
Yeah. Have fun storming the castle. Bye. It's good stuff. God damn, this has been fun, guys.
Yeah, we are starting to run up against that hour and a half mark. Coming up
so
close
quick.
on it. Crispy, thanks for joining today, bud. I appreciate it.
It's been a blast.
Thanks for
Man.
having me. I had a good time.
Excellent.
I hope I was helpful. I hope I didn't, suck.
And I'll cut out that super secret information I put right in the middle of them.
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll cut that out. It's not an issue. But yeah, it was great to find out more about your gaming past. You are an Elder Scrolls guy through and through. Love that.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to talk about in-game ESO a good bit, which is always good. Always fun. We're probably going to name this episode something about sweat. Master Sweat Chris.
Works for me. Crispy sweat.
I don't know. One day I'll get sweaty, maybe.
You're pretty sweaty in my book, buddy.
I don't know. I honestly still think I'm trying to figure shit out, man. I'm just like an old stoner trying to figure shit out. I don't know what's going on.
Don't lose that
One day-
mentality.
It
As long as we don't
everything
become-
mysterious.
Yeah, as long as we don't become elitist, think we know everything, I think that's what keeps us more level-headed. There is always more to learn. No one is the true master of ESO, you know?
That's the only reason I don't have Mountain God. It's because I don't want to get too arrogant.
You have Mountain God.
Yeah, I thought you got
I'm sorry. What's the Sunspire one?
Oh, Godslayer.
God, yeah, that's the only reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
One day I'll get hard mode in there.
I think that's where we should head next after Vast, too. But for all of our viewers, all of our listeners, thank you so much for another wonderful episode of
do
the
appreciate
DarkBrue
it.
podcast. Yeah, we love you guys so much. Tuning in week to week, listening in. Of course, you can find me, we mentioned it already, on Twitch, twitch.tv/BrueCru. By all means, come have a follow. Come watch the guild shenanigans we get into, other games we play. I've been trying to mix it up a bit lately.
A lot of fun. We love the engagement too. So give us your requests, your ideas too. Throw them around.
Yeah.
DM us or whatever. You know,
I've
get
gotten
to
a
us.
couple of requests that we need to talk about, Dark, for things to discuss on the pod. But check us out on YouTube as well. The video will be up later this week.
Teaser. We want more.
Oh, more. We want more.
gotta wait a whole week to do this again. Oh man, I know how y'all feel out there.
I know. Sadly, this isn't our full-time gig. We got real-world responsibilities to take care of.
Yeah.
All
Gross.
right, guys. Well, thank you again. We're out.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Crispy. Bye, everybody.